Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a long time since I have been on the airwaves bringing you a podcast here at the Actors Area. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has went down. Life is wonderful as always. Hoping the same for you as well as your career. And I hope that you're finding this holiday season as something to be proud about, to be mindful of. And, the really cool thing about Facebook, and, most people have like issues with social media, but I'm going to tell you like this. For me, social media is an outlet that allows me to help so many people around the world, to inspire so many people, to connect, to answer questions. I have so many actors and actresses like send me random messages on Facebook to ask me questions about their career. And that's so awesome that I have that outlet to be able to do it. So I love Facebook. I love social media because I use it in a way that invigorates me. I use it in a way that not only inspires me to increase, but does the same for others. So I just absolutely love it. But the really cool thing about Facebook is Facebook keeps track of your memories. And they're getting better and better with keeping track of stuff that's happened in the past. As actors and actresses, we kind of get into this place where we are so hell-bent on the next job, and then the next job, and then the next job, and then the next job, right? That we forget to celebrate the job we just did. We forget to celebrate how awesome that commercial was. We forget to celebrate how awesome that Broadway run or that community theater show was. We forget to celebrate even the stuff that we did last year because we're always looking so far ahead to what's next. And so this podcast, it was inspired by the article I wrote last night. You can check it out on my Facebook page at Sean Grant Acting or my group, The Vibrational Actor. Please join if you hadn't already. Or anywhere, I'm sure you'll find it. Send me an email. If you can't find it, I'll definitely send you the link. But anyway, it inspired me. That article inspired me to let people know that it's not just about what you're achieving from getting a role or booking this or booking that. Too often, too many times, booking just becomes this thing that you forget to be present. You forget to be present. And you forget to really dive in to the truth. Here's something that you should go through. And write this down if you feel the need, because it's a great reminder. This is what you should go through every time you book something. Doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Every time you book something, one, you should celebrate it. And celebrate it by meaning, go buy your favorite drink, get your favorite dessert, get your favorite food. Celebrate the fact that you got that role. Number two, be extremely grateful. Because even with like student films and independent films and other films, there's so many people who want the same role that you just got. So be grateful for it. Be grateful that you were right. You were the right person in the right place at the right time, and let that gratitude marinate. And then what you want to do after that is you want to write it down somewhere. Because getting back to my point with Facebook, I had forgotten all the things that I've been able to accomplish over this year as it relates to acting, as it relates to life, as it relates to travel. And Facebook brought back all those things. And it somehow or another got me to scroll down my Instagram feed and through my photos, and I'm seeing all these things I've been so fortunate to do. And I'm like, you know what? I hadn't even taken the time to celebrate them yet. It's cool how everything kind of slows down at the end of the year because you can celebrate what you've done. And whether or not you've booked 1,000 roles, whether or not you've booked 0 roles, celebrate who you are, who you became. I guarantee you there's victories everywhere you look within your career, whether it's through class, whether it's through, script reading or whatever you're doing, through submissions. Like, take heart in knowing that you're right where you need to be. Where you are right now matters the most because guess what? it's all about the moment. It's all about the moment. I wrote this post the other day on my Facebook and then on a couple of other social media sites. And it talked about how fear is a lot of times the reason why we get out of the moment. Fear is oftentimes why we lose our joy, because fear thrusts us into the future to stuff that we can't even control, or it takes us to the past to have us like repeating, stuff that we no longer need, or things or behaviors that we no longer need. And then it zaps you out of the moment. It zaps you out of the blessings that are actually sitting right in front of you. And I live by that, because all I need to do is come back to the moment and realize how blessed I am. Like how blessed I am to live in such a beautiful place that I live in now. How blessed that I am to have been able to act in 3 different states. How blessed I am to be able to help as many actors as I possibly could. I made the goal at the beginning of this year to help 10 million actors. Now, there's no way of me calculating if I make that goal or not. But the fact that I put it out in the atmosphere, what started to happen is people from France and from Belgium and England, are telling me that they're reading my articles on Backstage, on Medium, on The Daily Actor, on my website. And it's just like, okay, like this is something to celebrate. This is not something I just need to overlook, but this is something I need to celebrate because of me, I've made someone's career and someone's life greater. And that's what I want you to dive into. Okay. So acting, yes, it's fun. It's exciting. And it's an amazing journey. But at the same time, it's how are you going to send that ladder back down, right? How are you going to help other people? How are you going to embrace the moment? How are you going to stay on top of the joy that exists just by adjusting your perception? And all that comes to right now. It doesn't come to like looking ahead to 2009. We still have like 21 more days left. Or I'm sorry, what is it? It's the 12th today. So what is that? 28, I think, or 29, however many days it is. Actually, no, I'm wrong. 19. My math is completely off. 19 days, I think it is. So anyway, we still have that many days, almost a little bit over 3 weeks, or close to 3 weeks left in 2018. And you need to take that time to celebrate. You need to celebrate that indie film you did in January. You need to celebrate that episodic you did in April. You need to celebrate, all the actors you helped back in July. Like, sit down, take a journal. And even if you can't remember it consciously, sit there for a bit, let your subconscious bring it back to you, and just write down all the things that you're appreciative for. And if you're like me, I try to document everything, because guess what? Then I can go back and look at it and see what I was able and what I was grateful to be able to do to help somebody else. Okay? So I know I rambled on a bit here, but the objective of this podcast is basically, today's episode is to show you that where you are right now is what matters most. Okay? Where you are right now is what matters most. And the reason I say that is because it's teaching you what basically what you've been producing through you up to this point. Now, if it's something that you really can't be proud of and you think you can do more, go within. Go on an introspective level to see what it is that you can change up. Okay? And sit still. Listen for answers. Listen for things that you can change up. But I guarantee you, you are where you are because that's where you're supposed to be, right? I know another guy's probably booking, left and right. He's probably booked 30 jobs this year. But guess what? That's his journey, not yours. I know another actress has been on the same show for like 8 or 9 years and she's doing really well. But guess what? That's her journey, not yours. See, it's easy to want somebody else's life or want somebody else's career in our cases and think that, wow, they must be doing something I'm not doing. But the truth of the matter is they're not. They're not doing anything different than you're doing. It may be somewhat to a degree. And I used to think that like this way. I want to debunk a myth for you. And this myth is, I've always thought that because somebody else has greater success than I have, that they're working harder than I'm working. But that is not always the case. That's not always the case. Because, once again, we're on different journeys. We're all connected through oneness, but we're on different journeys. So when someone's success might come in 2018, my success might not be ordained to come until 2022, But does that make me sit down and pout? No, that makes me embrace the hell out of where I'm at, because as long as I do that, then I'll be ready for the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And by the time 2022 comes, it'll be like clockwork. Okay? So what I'm saying is, don't compare yourself. The only person you ever want to compare yourself is to who you were yesterday or who you were 5 minutes ago. And if you can improve something that is for the greater good of humanity as well as for yourself, then do it. But at the same time, don't even worry about it. Just stay right in the now and be open. It's so funny. I'll tell you a story and then I'm going to wrap it up. I was, these last few months, I've been really working on my creativity, and I want to give you guys something. Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. If you hadn't read that book, as an artist, it's important to get that book because it gives you all the tools that you need to basically just elevate your creativity to a higher level. And I've been doing this for like the last couple months, and so much is open to me. And I just learned to ask, like the great creative spirit, God, like, what is it do you want to offer me right now? So I'm doing this morning as I'm writing. And of course, I posted a picture on Instagram because, like I said, I like to document this stuff because it inspires people. But I'm sitting there and my wife's trampoline is in front of my table where I work at. And I'm like, what does the great creative spirit want to offer me in this moment? And I look straight ahead and I see the word cheer. And I know that it's not a coincidence because there's no way that it could be set up that perfectly in that position where the chair's partly blocking it. You got to see the picture. You'll see what I mean. The company's name is Ancheer, Ancheer. But when I asked, what does the Great Spirit want to offer me in this moment? The Great Creative Spirit. And I literally looked up and I saw the word cheer. I saw it cheer, like the A-N cut off, and cheer was the only thing that I could see. And it was such a revelation to me and to everyone else that when you really want creativity to flow through you, all you have to do is ask and be patient enough to wait. And when it comes, act on it. Act on it. And if that means putting it on Medium, putting it on your personal blog, putting it on social media, whatever it is, document that, because I can guarantee you, and I've done this like the past 13, 14 years since I've been on Facebook, you always go back to it, especially with the memories right now. You always go back to it and you're always able, it's always relevant. Truth of the matter is, God, the universe, all that is, uses creativity. Creativity is just taking something old and creating it into something new, or creating something that's been used and reusing it to make it into something beautiful. So your words, your actions will be valid 10 years down the road, in some type of creative degree, right? So you've got to understand that all that matters is right now. All that matters is that you take joy, take heart, embrace where you are, embrace everything that's unfolded in 2018, and just go right into 2019, taking it moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. That's all you have to do. Don't focus on anybody else. Help as many people as you can, as many actors as you can, because there's a lot of actors out there struggling that just don't know. But more importantly, do it out of love and do it with the impression of increase on everything that you do, because I promise you, when you do that, your life, your career will be raised to a new level. And you may not get the success you want just yet, but just open yourself to life. See what life is trying to give you. See what life and the Spirit is offering you to make you greater as an actor. Don't just be so hung up on success, because a lot of times you see the people who are super successful and famous want to be unknown again because they can't do the things that they did before they got to that level. So really dive in deep for me and see what it is that your heart wants. And more importantly, just stay mindful. If you look at the moment right now, you look around you, you're breathing, the weather outside could be beautiful. It could be raining. You're probably in a house listening to this, or an apartment. You have food, you have shelter, you have clothing, you have an internet where you can listen to this stuff. You are doing fantastic. I've been to some third world countries in the past couple months, and I mean, we look like billionaires compared to what these people have. So we always have to get back to being grateful, because when you're grateful, that's going to skyrocket you, not only in your career, but in your life as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It is always a pleasure. I will talk soon. Take care. Remember, stay in that moment. This is what matters most, where you are right now. Trust me on that. Take care.